Today we're going to cover how to do a custom forming tool. This is going to be a dimple die, and typically dimple dies are used to, you can use them on sheet metal to stop tubing in a position you want it to stop at, depending on how deep the die or the dimple is. You can either actually stop the tube, or if you've got a piece of round sheet metal, you can put dimples in and make the tube index, or two sheet metal parts index against each other. So we'll go ahead and start a new part here and show you how to do that. And we're going to do a really simple dimple die. We're going to do one that doesn't have any radius or anything. And so we're going to form the shape that we're going to revolve. And again, this is just going to be a really simple dimple die. And what we're going to do, we're going to control the diameter and the depth of the dimple. So this is going to be a configurable part. We're just going to throw two controlling dimensions on there. And these are going to control the shape of the dimple. And we'll go ahead and throw a third part on there as a readout, just so we know what angle we're forming, in case you want an exact angle. So we'll go ahead and throw that in there too. And we'll go ahead and revolve this. And I'm using the S key, and it's a shortcut key to revolve. I'm going to pick my revolution and pick OK. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and save this. So in my case, I've got a custom design library located in one of my drives. One of the things you're going to want to make sure when you mark the folder as a forming tool, it can only be one deep. So Solidworks is looking for, and I'll show you here in just a second, it's looking for one nested folder down. I originally made the mistake of putting it a number of folders down, and it wasn't able to recognize it properly. So we're going to call this, we'll call it Dimple Point. You can see that I already have another one there. I was testing that on. Point. Sorry to interrupt. I forgot to add this during the video, so I'm adding a quick clip here. The way that you add a custom design library is you go up here to this button, second one over, and you click on it, and it's going to say add file location. You're going to go and pick wherever your new custom design library is. In my case, I've already got it added, so it's added in, but you'd pick your location and hit OK. Okay, so under the custom design library, what you'll notice is there's a folder called Forming Tools. In this case, I've already turned it into a Forming Tool folder, but originally it looked just like the rest of them. What you do is you right click on the folder and you click this button here that says Forming Tools folder, and it will then recognize that as containing forming tools inside of it. So you'll have to do that as part of the task of creating a new Forming Tools folder with forming tools in it. And if I go into my design library here, you can see that I've got the custom design library folder, and I'll let it float for a second so you can see the location. And then under that is the forming tools, and here is the file I just saved. It's not actually it's not a custom forming tool just yet. We have to do another couple of steps. But first, what we're going to do, we're going to rename this configuration. So this configuration is going to be 0.5 D by 1 DIA. And we'll see if we can work with that as far as our configurations. And actually what I'm going to do real quick is name these. And I'm also going to see if I can get that to go over center. How about display as diameter? Nope, of course not. Alright, so we're going to name this radius. So right here where it says D2, we're going to name that radius. And then we're going to name this one height. And if you're looking on YouTube, you're looking at the left side of my screen. I'm naming it under primary value. So we'll go ahead and exit out of that. Okay, now I can set it as diameter. Let's see, hopefully. I was hoping to be able to make that diameter. Whoop. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in real quick and I'm going to rename this. And you can do it here as well, and we're going to name that diameter. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go in here and we're going to add a, let's see, where is it? Oh, why can I never find this? Here we go, table. We're going to add a design table, and we're going to auto create it. And we're going to pick height and diameter as the things we want to go into the design table. And we're going to pull that out so I can see what I'm doing a little better. And so we're going to go, as far as our heights, we'll go we'll go in 1/8 inch increments. So 0.125, 0.25, and hopefully we can autofill from there. And we're going to delete this one. And 1 second here. Okay, we're going to set the diameter of all those at 1. And then what we're going to do is just take this whole thing and copy it down. And what we're going to do is set this entire row to 0.5. And I believe if you hit Control Enter, it fills them all out. Yeah. So in Excel, Control Enter will populate the whole selection. And we'll throw 0.25 in there, although it may start to look funny. And we'll also throw 0.75 in there. So we'll do all these at 0.25, 0.25, Control Enter. And we're going to do all these at 0.75, Control Enter. And then what I've got to do, one of the things I want to do is I want to set this Excel spreadsheet up so it automatically pulls information. So let's see, I'm going to use, it's been a while since I've done this, so forgive me. Concatenate in Excel, and we're going to go this, and then I think I can put this in parentheses, quotation marks, and then that one, and then comma, and then quotation marks, DIA. I think this is going to work. We'll see. Oh, forgot my other parentheses. And you know what it is? It's set to text. So you're going to have to go to Format Cells. And you're going to have to set it to General. Yeah, it's set as text, General. It won't calculate anything as text. So now we're going to try this again. and you should be able to pull that down and it should auto-populate everything. So we're going to go ahead and close this out and see if it'll accept all that information. And it's going to ask me if I want to add all those configurations. I'm going to accept them. And so what I should be able to do now is pick on the different configurations, and it's going to size them differently. Oh, and you know what else we're going to add? We're going to go back into that table real quick. And before we do that, we're going to go back into the sketch, and we're going to edit this, and we're going to call that angle, or let's see, half angle. Yeah, we'll call that half angle. And we'll go ahead and push that into the spreadsheet. I prefer edit table in new window because I can zoom in and cancel. And let's see here. We're going to go and get this piece of information here. We're going to add that. We're going to jump over to here and calculate that. And we're going to close this. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to auto-populate for everything. I want to set it up so that it doesn't allow edits. I'll have to look that up. You want to make it so that your model doesn't update your design table. Now, because those tables are not, I'm not sure exactly how that works. Those numbers should be different, so I'm a little confused. So we're going to go, I'm just going to go ahead and open them all to make sure they're all resolved. Okay, my hope was that the design table would, I'm going to go ahead and edit feature, allow model edits, block model edits, okay. Okay, that, and then I'm going to update the design table. All right. So it did. It updated all the half angles. So the nice thing about this is this gives you information on what your half angles are. If you wanted to generate one at 60, you could temporarily switch out, make one of the sides driven, and generate a 60 and a 30-degree one as well. I'm not going to take the time to do that, but so I like the fact that we've got a bunch of configurations in here. So we're going to save it again. And then we're going to go up to sheet metal, and here's where you're actually going to add the forming tool. Forming tool is real simple. You got a couple of different things. Stopping face is how far your forming tool goes into the part. So this is where we're going to stop. The dimple is going to push into that point. Faces to remove, if I had on this end, if I instead of a point I wanted a small hole formed while it dimpled, I would click on that face and it would show up here and it would remove that face on the part that you're dimpling. Normally in a flat pattern you're going to want to pre-punch the hole most of the time, unless it was a louver or something like that. So I'm not going to use that very often. I'm going to check my insert point. Insertion point is origin. I like that. So I'm going to say OK. And then I'm going to save it again. Now when I go to the library feature, you'll notice that, let's maybe flip this over. Oh, it didn't auto-update the... should auto-update the view. Ah, there it is. It's updated there. So now we're going to try it on an actual sheet metal part. So we're going to open a new sheet metal component, and we're just going to make something simple. Front plane. We'll do a midpoint rectangle, and we'll make it something like, oh, let's say 6 by 3. And then we'll go into the sheet metal and we'll grab a base flange, make it 16th. No, we'll do 080. Oops, gotta put a point in there. And we'll go ahead and use the dimple tool and just drop it right on there. And you'll notice when it comes up, you've got a couple of things. So I've already picked my face by dropping it on there. You've got a rotation angle, and that rotates the part on its, what I would call the revolution axis. This is a symmetrical part about that axis, so we're going to leave that at 0. If it was a square, you'd see it turning. I've got a bunch of different configurations here, so maybe we'll pick that one. Let's see how far it sticks through. I don't know if it's going to deform that far. It'll be interesting to see if it actually deforms out that far. Yeah, and you can see the yellow profile here of what it's supposed to do. You want to link it to the form tool. Don't need to override any of the document settings. And then position is going to give me a way to position it. So we'll go ahead and dimension real quick. Maybe go 1 inch in and 1 inch down. And you'll notice anywhere I put a point, there's more of them that form. So real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror these. Oops. And we'll get rid of all these but one. And I'm going to go ahead and set, since I already got it down, you can pick all 3 and just hit symmetric. And then I'm going to select the other 2 and mirror them about this line. And we'll see if it dimples it. Form tool overlapping with other form tool. Why did it not like that? Let's just try dropping 1 on there. And we'll position it, and then maybe I can mirror it. and it deformed it that far. Not like it would be able to do that in real life, but that would obviously rip open. However, what I'm going to try to do is go back in and do it the original. Well, let's see if I can mirror it first real quick. Features, mirror, we'll go across the top plane. Not sure why I didn't like that, but yeah, so it mirrors that way. The other thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to go into the sketch and see if I can add one there just to see. Yeah, so it did, it added it and it actually picked it up in the mirror. So that gives you a configurable tool. We can go back in here and say, yeah, that's not going to work, that's way too deep. So we're going to go in and we're going to go with 1 inch diameter by 1/4 inch deep. It says it erases it, but I'm not sure why it says that, because it's obviously not erasing it. So you can see these are dimples, and if you had a piece of tubing sitting out across here, you could use a much smaller version of these dimples to cause the tube to go into a position in between the two dimples. That's what I like to use them for in sheet metal. Anyways, that's how you do a custom forming tool, and hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.